And next up, we have Larry from Fall Brewing. Larry, get up here. Look at that. Cheers. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Larry is the director of sales, correct? Sure.
Among other things, yes.
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, yes. Sales manager for Fall Brewing Company.
Sales manager for Fall Brewing, and you guys are about 4 years old.
In November.
And okay, almost 7,000 breweries out there now. So it's tough to keep track of all of them. Tell our audience about Fall Brewing, what you guys are all about, your top-selling beers, how much beer you're going to make this year. I mean, give us the rundown.
Wow, that's a very all-encompassing question. We're a brewery that was founded by brewers, punk rockers, artists, skaters, surfers, gearheads. I mean, we really just like to do what we want to do. We put out the beers that we like, and we just hope that other people dig on them. But the brewery was founded by a professional brewer, a guy that's been in the industry a long time, and we were founded by also a graphic designer who's been in the surf, skate, music industry for 20 plus years. And if you ever make it down to our tasting room, you'll really feel that. The music that we play, the artwork on our walls, the beer that we serve, the branding that we have. I mean, it's just all encompassing. And I just love the fact, and I'm sure all of my coworkers love the fact that we do what we love.
Right.
And we are very grateful that consumers pick up on it, and they're buying as much beer as they're buying right now, because we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, how much beer are you going to make this year?
We're knocking on 7,000 barrels.
Wow.
Which is peak capacity.
And does that all stay in San Diego?
We signed with a distributor back in May for Orange County and Los Angeles, but we do not have all the beer that we need to send up that way, which is a good problem. I think we're kind of biding our time. We're sitting back, looking at the industry, kind of seeing where things go before we decide what our next move is, whether it be a small brewery tasting room, kind of, in Orange County or LA, or whether it be a large production facility somewhere in San Diego where we've got a canning line. Like, we're just kind of doing what we do, and when the right opportunity presents itself, we'll take that move.
Awesome. So you talked up front about sort of the marriage between a professional brewer and a graphic designer that really created the brand, and everything that you guys do kind of stems from that. Talk to me about just how you guys accomplish that. I mean, I think so many brands want to, or owners of brands, I should say, want to take their personal passions and kind of infuse it into the brand that they've built.
Sure.
And sometimes that's successful and sometimes it's not. So how is Fall Brewing finding success taking all of those personal passions and like actually creating a brand around it?
Well, this goes back to just my personal philosophy, and also goes back to something that I just know from being in the industry a while. I mean, I've seen many brands out there that have great beer and not so great branding, marketing, just nothing really for the consumer to identify with. I've seen the opposite as well. I've seen brands with or breweries with great branding, great marketing, but maybe subpar beer.
Yeah.
If you have both, and I mean, I can give shouts out to Ballast Point for the years that they did all the amazing stuff with Paul Elder and the artwork. I mean, Stone Brewing Company with their gargoyle and everything they've done for years. Pizza Port with like their surf vibe and everything. I mean, all these brands know what they are. On top of the fact that they're making really good quality beer. If you have that 1-2 punch, I think that's almost a secret now. You can't get by if you just have good branding and crappy beer. If you've got good beer and not good branding, no one's going to be interested.
Right.
So one of the things that I think
especially
is really,
today.
Absolutely.
Maybe a few years ago you probably could have gotten away with it for a while, but you think maybe today that's just impossible?
You need both.
Yeah.
I mean, you need a cool tap handle. You need a great logo. You need a great story. You need something to bring the consumer in. But also, once they try your beer, you also need to be, highest quality, the most consistent. You have to be very interesting. You got to be creative without being gimmicky. I mean, let me kind of rewind. I mean, that's kind of one of our ethoses. I mean, some people call us the punk rock brewery. I mean, what is punk rock? Punk rock is something that was art, but it wasn't a gimmick. It was a lifestyle. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what we do. We brew beer that we love. We brew beer that we like. We do it with high quality. We do it with consistency. But we also have the presentation that is us. I mean, the music that you listen to when you come into the taste room is what we like. The artwork that you see when you come into the brewery is what we like.
Yeah.
When you see a fall T-shirt on the street, it's something that we put out because we like it.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful that the consumer or our customers or our fans, whatever you want to call it, I'm just very grateful that other people are digging on what we do.
Now, as you guys grow and as you guys scale, how do you maintain that? Because you're inevitably going to have to bring on new people. You know, the jobs market, the labor market being what it is, it's, you know, there's a shortage of talent out there, both on the, you know, sort of sales and the operations side. So how do you find those people that really embody the brand and can speak to everything that you guys have built as you guys grow?
That's a great question, and I can tell you this: they come to us. Have you ever been to our tasting room in North Park?
I have not had the pleasure, unfortunately.
One of the things that I love to say is if you come into our tasting room on any Wednesday, any Thursday night, any Friday night, you're going to find brewers from other breweries hanging out at our spot drinking. You're going to find industry folks hanging out. Like, our peers embrace what we do, and it's the greatest compliment to me because I've been in this industry 12 years, and it's the greatest thing, you know, in my life. And I'm so grateful that not only do consumers dig on what we're doing, but also the industry has embraced what we're doing.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, you asked how do we find talent? I mean, I was going into fall before they were even built because I was friends with the people that were making it. Like I was like one of the first customers of the place, and here it is like 2.5 years later. I'm now the sales manager of the company. I mean, I worked for other notable breweries, and I'm at fall because of choice.
Right.
I mean, we've got Cesar Torres in North County. He's one of our sales guys. The guy had a very good career with Iron Fist and with Hess Brewing Company. He's an industry veteran, but he wants to be at fall. We've got brewers that have been with Stone and Mother Earth and Hess and, like, you know, other places, but we've got industry professionals that come to us because, you know, they dig on what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't want it to sound, you know, conceited in a way, but like, we have a pool of our friends and our compatriots and people that dig on what we're doing that we can pull from to help us get to where we want to go. But at the same time, you were kind of mentioning, you know, how are we going to manage growth? I think we're being very, I'm not going to say cautious. We're just being smart about what we're doing. What are we doing in the next year, year and a half, 2 years? You know, I know we want to be able to make more beer. Some of just the same beers that we're coming out with, but just to have a wider audience. But we need to send beer to Orange County. We need to send beer to Los Angeles. We need to get as far as, you know, Santa Barbara. And you know, we would be very happy if we could increase our footprint from Santa Barbara to the border for now and just keep our head count where it is so all of us could have a good living.
Have you found that distributors are, I don't know, maybe a little bit more reluctant to take on new brands now?
Well, if it even matters, I mean, we're with Craft Beer Guild in San Diego, and we signed with Craft Beer Guild LA Orange County, and I feel really bad that we don't have enough beer to send LA Orange County at the moment. And I've worked for some other larger brands that have been with larger distributors. I'm very happy with Craft Beer Guild as it stands because they support us, they're behind us. They know that, like, if they bring in 30 kegs of our beer, they're going to sell 30 kegs of our beer.
Right.
It's not, you know, we have very little problem with SKUs. Pretty much everything we send them, they know they're going to sell. And again, this isn't being like conceited. It's a good problem to have. I love that we're making clean, consistent, desirable beer with great branding, with great people behind it, and a great distributor that supports us.
And your top-selling beer is a Pilsner.
Plenty for All Pilsner. Yep.
And of your overall production, how much does that account for?
God, it fluctuates, seasonally, but it's probably anywhere from 30 to 50%.
Okay.
And the problem with that is it's a much longer beer to produce than our ales.
Yep.
And we're hand to mouth with that beer from the brewery to the distributor. And again, these are all good problems to have.
So the Pilsner being your top-selling beer, has that always been the case? And if so, why do you think that is? And if not, like, what changed?
I don't think it's always been the case. I mean, we all know that, hoppy beer is king in the craft beer world.
Yeah.
Green Hat IPA is our flagship IPA. It's a 7.3% Citra-forward IPA that's unapologetically West Coast. And that's still number 2, and there's probably certain weeks, if you were to analyze sales, there's probably certain weeks where Green Hat is a better seller than Plenty for All. But overall, over the course of a year, I think we're in the midst of the lager renaissance, would you say?
Yeah, I think consumers are really starting to gravitate back towards that style.
And we've been doing it since day one. People call it a brewer's beer. We also know that it's the consumer's beer. The vast majority of beer that's brewed on planet Earth is light lager.
Yep.
It's undeniable that
75% of the beer sold, right?
People like it.
Yeah.
So we did that from day one, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that I think we do it pretty well, and we do it pretty consistent for a small craft brewery. And we're local, and there's a lot of things that makes us sought after in the San Diego market, and our accounts want a local, small batch, boutique Pilsner, and it's keeping us on our toes. But at the same time, we're doing some really kick butt hoppy beers. That's another thing we're known for.
You can say kick ass.
I can say kick ass?
Yeah, we're on YouTube, so
all
it's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was going to get bleeped. But, Green Hat has been definitely a number 1, number 2 seller for us for a long time. About a year ago, we dipped our toe into doing what we call unfiltered IPAs because, they still pass light. They still have some IBUs to them, but they definitely do use some of the East Coast brewing techniques and yeast and what have you, and these beers have just been gangbusters for us. Almost all of the ones that we've done, I think there's about 12 now, have been one-offs. So not to just, rest on our laurels of being a lager brewery, locally we're pretty well known for doing our unfiltered beers.
Yeah.
We've also done a pretty good job with a kettle sour that we started out very traditional. It's a beer called Jazz Hands. Probably the first 2 years of the brewery's existence, it was straight ahead, no fruit, classic Berlin style. Something that you would want to add the raspberry or the woodruff syrup to. About a year ago, we started making a version with real watermelon. We also started making a version with real sangria ingredients.
Awesome.
Orange peel, lemon peel, organic apple juice, real Tempranillo grape juice concentrate. And the sell rate on this fruited Berliner Weiss is 300% faster than what it was.
Wow.
So that's kind of like, people know us for doing good lagers, well-balanced hoppy beer, whether it be West Coast or East Coast. And we're doing really well with our kettle sours that are fruited right now.
Sounds like you guys are kind of doing it all.
We're doing it because we like it.
Well,
I need to make that point.
I would hope so. Well, I can't wait to go try some of your beers in a couple weeks when I'm down there. Hopefully I get to see you. I'll be there for the NBWA event. So if you're around, let's grab a beer. Larry, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for the time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And everything that we tell anybody out there, we really want you to visit us.
We will.
We want you to experience what we're into, and if you walk into Fall Brewing Company, you're going to know what we like.
Well, we only had 15 minutes with Larry, but get to the tap room, find Larry, have one of his beers, and we'll see you. Thanks so much, Larry. Cheers.